Aren't you all kind? Thank you. The question is, what is the role of thought? And I know that the role of thought is more important than my technical abilities. I'm a general contractor by trade. And by the way, you all should know whenever you listen to somebody up like this to understand they're better, they're biased. I'm a good Sicilian son who was this general contractor who hammer nails go to law school, got involved in construction and real estate litigation, and at some point got handed the estate planning and found a bit of a calling because I could help families with wealth and wealth transfer, and that's where all the money was. That made sense to me. Through that, yes, built law firms, did roll-up law firms and sold them, ran businesses, still do development, started a business succession firm 15 years ago, like you're talking about, which is Founders Group. And with that, developed an institute that does over 300 programs a year. One of those programs that happens, and about, by the way, of them, 2/3 are to advisors, about 1/3 to clients with those advisors. Developed something called the Laureate Wealth Strategies Program, how to attract $20+ million net worth families, how to engage or get hired by them, and then how to get the work done and make that work more expansive. Consistently, for the 500-600 graduates that we have, the question is always the same. What do you say? How do you conduct a meeting? How do you engage a family in order to cause a big engagement or relationship and make it ever expanding? And the answer usually is the role of thought. Now, I got to tell you, with all my technical background, just like my friends, I need it to be, I want it to be about my technical knowledge. I want to use that technical knowledge and the tools around that technical knowledge to be able to have a client family say, yes, please help us. I want to use that technical knowledge to design the things we're going to do and expand, and I want it to use it to do the work, and I want to have a bunch of friends like you do it too, with us. But the role of thought, how a client processes data, how their advisors process data, is really what causes them to engage. Fred this morning explained to us yet again, 90% of all thoughts are subconscious. When you're in front of a client, 90% of what's running in their head is subconscious to them. They don't even know what's happening. And what percentage of it was negative? 70. Doesn't that scare the hell out of anybody? It does me. It turns out that there have been many books and many concept of thought, how to see it. Is it that I'm doomed to a thought pattern, that my client's doomed to a thought pattern, oh, you're an engineering firm, you act like this? Or are they allowed to have realizations and change? The biggest difference, and there's only a couple of key concepts that we're going to hit here today. One is the first one of the difference between understanding and realization. Understanding is us using all of those tools that we have as technicians, those acronyms that we have, and the concepts, and the canned questions, and the forms they can fill out, and the boxes they can check, and the surveys they can take. And then we can produce reams of paper to fold the paper over or show videos or show PowerPoint presentations to have them realize or understand, why they should do this. As opposed to the 90% that's rolling around in here, making a decision that has 70% saying no or being negative, helping them with their thought process to realize this is a good idea. To feel that they've been heard and understood, and not understanding your stuff, you're understanding them. So they can have a moment of realization. Most of us end up using counselors' crutches. You all have computer programs that print out pretty bar charts and things, right? Pie charts and bar charts and things that move. And don't work with me, your life sucks. Do work with me, it gets a lot better. Yes? Of course we do. And inside of doing that, we rely on them as crutches, but we often forget what's happening inside the client's head. If we're trying to help them understand through this or realize through what's going on in their mind. Now, yes, your technical ability is important. It's your ticket into the game. But it is not what helps a client come to you. It's not what helps you attract a $20+ million client, like Laureate Program teaches. It isn't about how to have them say yes or engage you for your services, so we're attract to engage. And the other one is to work with them for an expanding engagement. Yes, these things are important, but they're not the piece that makes it happen. And if you're in the world that deals with their interpersonality stuff, the conflict, etc., oh my goodness, why not just have them take an assessment on a computer? It'll print out, and then you'll tell them what they're doomed to be like for the rest of their life, and it'll tell you how to deal with them. And in fact, I've gone to some offices where they have color blocks. So when you walk up to somebody, it tells you how to deal with that person. For the rest of their life, only give them facts. Yes, thank you for laughing. Or better yet, parlor tricks. You know, some counselors are so good they can walk into a room and meet people and they can say, you as a CEO are a perfect 10. And you as the CFO, on a 1 to 10, you're a 6. Or better yet, they're able to do a personality assessment in their mind, look at somebody and say, oh, you act like the Queen of Hearts. I know how to communicate with you, and in fact, I will teach your family how to communicate with you as the Queen of Hearts. That's great if you're the Queen of Hearts, but what if you're the suicide king? If you're identified as a suicide king, are you doomed to act like this the rest of your life? Am I going to manage to you that way? Am I going to teach your family how to manage to your dysfunction? Or better yet, if you're one of the kids, the middle child or the youngest child, are you the jester or the joker? Often in our counseling models, it's one of 3 things. Advice. The advice is when people come to you, they bring stuff, they explain to you what's going on, and you look at the stuff. It's very obvious to you because you do it every day. You say, this is what to do. I give you my advice. Say yes to me and I'll go do it. That's advice. The second form is engagement. And the difference between advice and engagement is in engagement, it's review, design, implementation, and maybe maintenance. So review, give me stuff. I can't really give you an answer, it's too complicated. Let me go back and research the stuff and design a presentation of a design. Come back in, I'll show you the design, and if you say yes, we'll implement. So that's from that's from advice to engagement. The next level is partnering. And partnering is where the role of thought comes in. It's a longer engagement. Where review isn't about you reviewing the stuff they told you within that lane, the lane down the middle here. It's you're reviewing and looking to the stuff to the right and the left of it. And you're looking for what's behind what they're talking about. Why do they really want to engage? What are they really looking to do? And then your design is no longer about why they came in, but you've done such great intake, you're now designing to solve the bigger problem, not the symptom why they showed up. Not the taxes, not the whatever it is, but instead the reason they're looking to exit, like the owners up here talked about. It gives you a timeline when it gets implemented much more quickly. So review, design, and then implementation. Still, it's the investment versus involvement. Are you invested such that you have to reach a goal? So you're riding down the river and you're saying, when you get to those rocks, bank to the left because the current will pull us to the right, and we could pretend like we didn't know we were going to end up on that beach. Did you preconceive where they had to end up? So where you're so invested in it, you had to corral them in or take a particular path down the river to get to a goal? Or were you involved in the conversation where you were agnostic as to where you had to go? You just kept on asking the questions to make sure you could go to the right path. Involvement in the moment doesn't guarantee how you're going to get paid, but it does guarantee a better outcome for the client and probably an ever-expanding engagement for you. Investment in having them say yes to your packet or your thing or how you get paid limits it because you're not dealing with the role of thought for them. You get to there by the art of the question. In the art of the question, a couple of things. One, you ask questions to the right and to the left of the issue because you're trying to get to what's behind it. You're getting to the heart of highly relevant matters. We often get to ask, what are the list of questions? Give me the list of questions that gets to the heart of the relevant matters, and I'll go do it. And my point is, if you have a list of questions ahead of time, you're in investment mode. You're trying to convince them to understand in investment mode instead of being involved in the moment and having them have a realization. I would contend that the best questions are counterpunches. If you spent your whole meeting on counterpunches, you do well. You start the conversation with a big open-ended question and let them start to talk. These are people that have generated tens, if not hundreds of millions of net worth. And if your net worth is equal to them, by all means, you can go toe-to-toe. But if not, why not partner with them? These are smart people. And they want to be partnered with through the involvement side of it, through asking questions about what they just said. It's amazing if you give somebody a place to think and you give them pauses between your questions and their answers. And don't try to fill the room. And each of those pauses was only 3 seconds. It gives them a chance to catch up and think about it and change their mind or realize something. Counterpunching is the best form of counseling because it allows thought to come into play in the client's head. It allows them to get to their realization. The investment versus involvement, questions and counterpunching are the only two things we need to remember. It's the art of the question that gets to the heart of the highly relevant matter. And we don't get there by pre-prepared questions. If you think of your best relationships that you love and trust that you talk with, they don't have pre-prepared questions for you. They listen to you, and when you stop talking, they ask you to give them more. Why not us be that for our business owner client? Why don't we fill the chair that way? Is it going to be one day that your client's going to look over, like in the video, and say, for this advisor, we gave up the great helicopter pilot advisor? That beautiful video going on in their mind of the new advisor they're going to? Or instead, is it going to be, oh my gosh, can you even imagine our lives without Julie? We think better with her. We were able to understand multiple different things. It might have not been what was best for her, it was best for us. Julie, you gave us a place to think. Julie, you showed us a better option. The role of thought is the key way in working with business owners to attract new business, to engage or get hired, and to make your doing the work an ever-expanding engagement. It's a challenge, but why not do that questioning that we do with the people that we love the most, where we don't have preconceived ideas on who they are, where we take them at the moment as they are, and we're not invested in a result, we're involved in them at the moment. And we know when we do that with the people we love the most, like our children, like our spouses, and our best clients, that we're able to guide them to bigger and better futures. The role of thought is more important than my technical ability. Thank you.